There are buildings that hold history. There are buildings that symbolize power. And then there is the White House. Standing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House is more than just a grand mansion. It's the beating heart of American democracy. A place where history is written, decisions are made, and the fate of a nation is shaped. It has seen war and peace, triumph and tragedy. It has been burned, rebuilt, expanded, and immortalized. And through it all, it has remained one thing, the ultimate symbol of the United States of America. But its story begins long before it became the most famous residence in the world. The year was 1790. The United States was still in its infancy, a young nation full of ambition, still defining itself. President George Washington, the country's first leader, knew that America needed more than just laws and leaders. It needed a capital, a seat of power, a place that would represent the very soul of the new republic. A site was chosen along the banks of the Potomac River, and the vision was clear. A house, not for a king, not for an emperor, but for a president, a leader chosen by the people. In 1792, the design competition was won by an Irish-born architect named James Hoban. Inspired by grand European estates, Hoban's design was elegant yet understated, powerful yet inviting. It would be built of white-painted sandstone with neoclassical columns, grand windows, and a sense of dignity that would stand the test of time. Construction began. Workers, many of them enslaved laborers, toiled for years, cutting stone, laying bricks, shaping what would soon become the most important residence in America. It was a labor of vision and perseverance, and in 1800, after 8 long years of construction, the house was finally ready. President John Adams and First Lady Abigail Adams became its first residents, moving into an unfinished home that still smelled of fresh paint and damp mortar. It wasn't perfect, but it was history in the making. Little did they know, just 14 years later, that very home would nearly be reduced to ashes. The War of 1812. The British, retaliating against American forces, marched into Washington, D.C., setting fire to government buildings, including the President's house. Flames engulfed the walls, smoke filled the sky, and what had once been a proud symbol of democracy stood in ruins. But America was not a nation to be defeated. With resilience and determination, the White House was rebuilt, stronger, grander, more enduring. The damage was erased, but the scars remained, hidden beneath layers of fresh white paint. It was after this restoration that the building gained the name we all know today, the White House. From that moment on, the house at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue became more than just a residence. It became a witness, a silent observer to the greatest moments in American history. It was here in the East Room that Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, changing the course of history forever. It was here in the Oval Office that Franklin D. Roosevelt led the nation through the depths of the Great Depression and the Second World War. It was here that John F. Kennedy inspired a generation, where Martin Luther King Jr. shared his dream, where Ronald Reagan called on the world to tear down walls, and where history continued to unfold, moment by moment, decision by decision. Today, the White House is more than just the home of the president. It's a museum, a fortress, a workplace, a symbol. Every president, every leader who has walked its halls has left behind a mark, a legacy woven into its walls. There's the Oval Office, the nerve center of American leadership, where the toughest decisions are made. The Rose Garden, where history is announced to the world. The State Dining Room, where leaders from across the globe gather. And beneath it all, hidden from view, the legendary underground bunkers, prepared for moments of crisis, where America's survival could depend on what happens within those walls. But for all its power, all its grandeur, the White House is also a home, a place where presidents raise their children, where holiday decorations light up the halls, where dogs roam the South Lawn, and where history is lived, not just written. It's a place of celebration and mourning, of victories and losses, of past and future. And the best part, it belongs to the people. For over 200 years, millions of Americans and visitors from around the world have walked its halls, gazed at its portraits, and stood in awe of the history that lives within its walls. They have come to witness, to learn, to be inspired. Because the White House isn't just the home of one person, it is the home of a nation. And as long as the American experiment endures, as long as democracy thrives, as long as the people believe in the ideals that built this country, the White House will stand, watching, waiting, witnessing history unfold. So the next time you see its white pillars gleaming in the sun, the American flag waving high above, take a moment. Think of the past, think of the future, and remember that within those walls the story of a nation continues to be written. Because some buildings are just buildings. But this one? This one is America. If you want to get basic overview of anything, provide your thoughts and intentions in comment section. We will provide and serve you, and subscribe our channel to get more information in less time.